We're halfway through the No Snack Nutrition Kickstart. And today I want to talk about, firstly, my 4 most important factors for nutrition. Secondly, a bit more about why we do the No Snack Kickstart. And finally, a little review of my results so far. So firstly, my 4 most important factors for nutrition. The first one for me, and these aren't in any particular order, but the first one for me is eat whole foods. And that would be basically the importance to eat foods you recognize as foods and to minimize the amount of processed foods you take. Primarily this has health benefits, but also it definitely helps with our body composition, keeping our body fat low and also keeping our weight at a level we want to be at. Secondly, it would be calorie intake. I know there's a lot of talk about the benefits and whether calories are important. They are, in my mind, very important, and getting that number right is really important for your body composition, your body weight, and also performance. And I'm not talking about just being low enough, I'm also talking about being high enough. Really important for that, especially those of you that are having issues with your hormonal balance. You should be thinking about making sure your calorie intake is correct. And alongside that, number 3 is macro balance. That's the balance of our carbohydrates, proteins, and fats for our energy intake. I think this is really, really important to get this right. Again, the priority, I think, in terms of what it's going to affect is our body composition. In other words, our body fat percentage and our lean muscle mass percentage, but also our body weight and general health is going to be affected by that. Those 3 really go together, and it's important that we get them all correct. They're the real needle movers in there. Alongside, and I believe this is one of the 4 most important, meal timings. I think especially for those people that are looking to reduce their body fat, to lose fat, later in life, especially those that may be over 30, this has a real influence on your ability to shift weight. There's a dividing argument as to how important it is. I think it does have a great deal of importance, but I think a lot of that is due to the mental benefits of getting some order to your meal timing. And that's really the why, and we'll talk about the why we do the No Snack Nutrition Kickstart. And I think the mental side of it is really, really important. The first thing I think it does is it breaks these psychological needs that we have for food. And we all know we do it. There's plenty of reasons. First of all, because we have a habit of just constantly eating and grazing. We are bored. Procrastination, that's probably my big one. You've got a task that you're putting off, or you're just starting and you're getting yourself ready and you're making sure you've got everything you need, and then you think, why need now as a snack? And you get a snack and you start a little bit of work and you think, no, I need something else now. And it's just, whether it's subliminal or whether it's at the forefront of our mind, but it's a way of us kind of delaying that inevitable need to do the tasks that we do. And the other one is, alongside habit, maybe addiction is a strong word, but that feeling where we have the physiological effect, where we have symptoms of hunger that some people might like to call low blood sugar, that hasn't been medically diagnosed as low blood sugar, but we like to call it ourselves. We say we have the shakes, we're lightheaded, we're dizzy, and often it can be just purely that those same symptoms that people have when they are coming off other addictions. It's a physiological effect, more so caused by the mental or psychological dependence on eating, rather than actually something going on deep down in our body, and actually taking some action to get some order to our meal times can make us understand that and break that feeling. And that for me was the biggest effect when I started fasting. So I would often have that case where I'd be, and I've said in previous videos, I'd be playing a round of golf, or I'd be working, or I'd be driving a car, and I would have all these symptoms I just described. Once I started fasting, very, very early on, once I was researching and realizing that it wasn't necessarily something unique amongst my body, that I had to eat every 2 hours, or I have to have this much sugar during the day. It was just purely a psychological need. It really was a game changer for me now. And I can go very long periods without eating, especially when I have put into place the times which I will be eating. I found that a real game changer for me. So having those set meal times and knowing that that was when I was going to eat and I wasn't going to do anything before that, getting into those habits really broke that need for food. And also going back to the procrastination part, it stops you. You get a lot more productive when you haven't got the option to go away and eat and break your day up with snacks and hot drinks. Those who are smokers, maybe cigarettes, all of those things, a way of breaking up and ruining your productivity. You know that once you get into a role of working, whatever it is you're doing, you can get a lot done, or I personally can get a lot done that way. And as soon as I break that, it's hard to get that engine started and get rolling, whether that's, like I say, working out or working or admin or anything, studying. It's really unproductive to me to be having that grazing factor. So that's one of the big reasons why I love this no snack kickstart. But saying that, let's look at this year's results on my side. And I would say I have been failing quite heavily on the no snack this year. The first one I failed on a lot is the screen time. That's something, even just preparing for this video, I made a decision I need to get better at that. It doesn't take that long for me to eat a meal. So why am I having to sit in front of a screen when I'm doing so? It's mainly at dinner time. It's mainly because I get home later from work. You get home late, put the kids to bed, and it's 7:50, maybe 7:20. And you maybe feel like you're missing out by not watching half an episode or one more episode of your latest box set. And I think it's a real shame. And alongside that, it goes along another bad habit, and that is having conversations whilst on a screen. And one of the things that used to really bug me was that when you were having a conversation with someone and they were on the phone, and then I've realised I've become that dickhead. I will be on my phone and having conversations with people, and having a meal maybe with someone without the screen. And I'm not guilty of that at a restaurant. I've got to be honest. I don't do that when I'm out for a meal, but at home and maybe even at work, I can be very guilty of that. And I don't want to be the dickhead that I don't like. I'm going to make a better effort for these next 2 weeks to avoid that situation and actually take the time to have either just alone time if there's no one around who wants to talk to me, which is fair enough. Maybe I'm not that likable sometimes. But if people do want to talk to me, I want to make sure I'm giving them my full attention and the respect that they should have, when anyone should have when you're having a conversation with them. So that will begin with the meal times, but I think also I need to reflect on myself and maybe just outside of that, just people at work, and try to make sure that when someone does actually come up to me in a conversation, I'm not distracted in any way. So for me personally, I definitely feel there's definitely more of a psychological or mental habit benefit to this no snack kickstart, more so than the physical or the physiological, I should say. But of course, alongside there is just having good habits as well, in that I'm breaking that poor habit of snacking through the day. I've definitely got a lot better at that. So I'd say on my results side, that bit's better. But the screen time, as for most people, I think alongside here, has been an issue in getting away from the desk as well. But yeah, I've done that. Now I've got to get away from the sofa on those late nights. That's my task for the next 2 weeks. I've got 14 days. I can definitely do it when all of the family are at home. It's just once the kids are in bed and I'm eating. That is my real habit. So I'm going to work at that. Those of you that have kind of dropped off logging scores, try to get back in that habit. You can, if you're not sure how to do it, if you go to your entries, it should bring up a calendar, and you can actually click on those dates and enter those missing dates in that. And you can actually change the date when you log your score as well. But if you're wondering how you enter dates that you've missed in the past, you can do that. So don't worry about catching up. And if you have a 0 day, you just do have to leave that blank. I'm going to maybe change the scoring system in future, if this is the way the challenges work on Boxmate, to maybe have the 1 point day might be a 0 day. So you can actually leave a comment as to why that happens, because I know that's quite important on days where we don't do as well as we should. We, don't have to call it failing, but we don't do as well as we should. That we can actually make some reasons to why that happens, because there often is more than just a couldn't be asked reason to it. Anyway, hopefully this video has been of some interest. And if you've got any questions or comments on the Kickstart or anything else to do with nutrition or training, please drop a message to me at jeremy@crossfitchildren.com, or on the comments below on the video on YouTube, or in your Boxmate Challenges section of the app. Thanks for watching, guys, and good luck for the next 2 weeks.